As E3s come and go, it's easy to get caught up in the flashy press conferences, the stunning CG trailers, and the publisher fanboys that just won't shut the
A group of dragon hunting warriors.
And sure, your Cyberpunks and your Animal Crossings, that's what we're here to see. But it can be easy to forget about the other projects that are still under wraps and didn't quite manage to make an appearance on stage this year. So here's a rundown of a few titles that we're pretty sure are in development and would have loved to see at E3 2019. A rough trailer cut of an elusive Harry Potter themed RPG from Warner Bros. Was leaked last October, showing glimpses of a third-person action game with students wandering the grounds of Hogwarts, casting spells and attending classes. The title will apparently feature role-playing gameplay staples like a character customization menu and the choice to choose between 8 character classes which will align your character as either good or evil. A working title of Harry Potter Magic Awakened has been suggested, with the name Magic Forever also being thrown around. There is no official confirmation from Warner Bros. Whether this leak is even substantial, although the leaked footage certainly looks the business. Anyhow, as it didn't make any sort of appearance at E3 this year, we can only assume that it's still deep in development. We could maybe expect an initial reveal trailer at Gamescom in August. Failing that, we could have to wait until E3 2020 to find out if we really will be returning to the Wizarding World anytime soon. Sticking with Warner Bros., the biggest superhero franchise to grace gamepads in the last decade is the Arkham trilogy of games from Rocksteady. Although there are technically 5 Arkham games if you include Origins and Blackgate, which were spin-offs developed by Warner Bros. Montreal and Splash Damage, Rocksteady tied up the Arkham trilogy with Arkham Knight in 2015. Since then, we've had no official word on what Rocksteady have been working on as their next project, nor of any of the advancements of the Batman Arkham franchise. According to a playtest leak on Discord, the Caped Crusader is apparently making a return in a game based on the Court of Owls comic run, developed by Warner Bros. Montreal. The game will supposedly move away from the Gotham City we've known for years to the city of Bloodhaven, and will feature a drivable Batwing for the first time in the history of the franchise. A number of concept art images showing the Bat fighting against the Court of Owls were uploaded to an ArtStation account in January. However, the user has since taken them down after clarifying that they were just for fun. Some speculate that Warner Bros. May have requested the artist to take down the images to avoid drawing too much attention to the topic, further fueling the rumour that a game of this nature exists. A tweet from Warner Bros. Montreal associate producer, Double V, shared a suspected Court of Owls logo on the back of a dev t-shirt with the caption reading "Redacted." No smoke without fire and all that. As for what Rocksteady is working on, we're very much in the dark. Nothing that can be considered as solid evidence has yet been leaked. The only scrap of evidence we have that Rocksteady is actually creating something new is a tweet from Sefton Hill, game director and co-founder of Rocksteady Games, who tweeted out before last year's Game Awards, "We're still hard at work in our development bunker, so don't expect an announcement from Rocksteady Games. When it's ready to show, you'll be the first to know. Spoiler, it's not Superman." The ruling out of Superman could indicate that the game is set in some form of the DC universe, but who's to say at this point? Here's hoping we get some clarification on both projects soon. Ubisoft has been chucking out games with the Tom Clancy name attached like nobody's business recently. In fact, nearly half of their entire conference was dedicated to Tom Clancy titles this year. But it's been a while since we saw an iteration of one of gaming's most iconic Clancy games. 2013 was in fact the last time we saw Sam Fisher and his night vision Triforce creep across a pipe-laden ceiling, and it's about time he made a return since AAA stealth games are something of a rarity at the moment. As for whether we'll see Sam Fisher anytime soon, there have been some rumblings. In an interview with IGN, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot spoke about the issues surrounding the release of Splinter Cell Blacklist, which opted to go for a more action-oriented route in contrast from its stealth roots. He goes on to say that the brand is far from dead and that we'll see something at some point, but he can't say when. There's also the case of an apparent joke tweet from the Ubisoft creative director Julian Geraghty. Attached with some images of himself celebrating with a few drinks, the tweet claims that he was working on the next Splinter Cell game. Ubisoft since issued a statement to say that the tweet was clearly a joke and that they had no announcements to make at this time. Ubisoft is never usually a difficult publisher to predict. Most of their games end up teased one way or another in one of their sibling franchises. 2020's Assassin's Creed installment is already believed to be Vikings themed thanks to some artwork found in The Division 2, and a voice line in Watch Dogs 2 teased the London setting for Watch Dogs Legion years ago. The fact that we know nothing of a new Splinter Cell is disheartening, especially as there's such a gap in the genre right now. Speaking of Ubisoft, it's been a couple of years since we heard anything of Massive Entertainment's Avatar project. A teaser trailer released in February 2017 with feature footage of James Cameron's 2009 Avatar film and interviews with a few members of the team at Lightstorm who are assisting Massive with development. Massive are the team behind the Division games and so have access to their in-house engine, which has been used to develop both Division games and, weirdly, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Aside from maybe Mario and Rabbids, the Snowdrop engine is known for having incredible visuals with the potential to host an astounding level of detail, and that's exactly what the team sound like they're trying to achieve with their Avatar project. That February announcement trailer was the first and last time that we officially heard of the project, although a studio vlog from a few months ago showed some of the team moving to a new building, with the title name-dropping the Avatar team, so we know that it's still definitely on the way. Disney has since acquired the rights to Avatar through the 20th Century Fox acquisition, and a sequel to the 2009 film is currently slated for a December 2020 release date. The Avatar project is not expected to be a movie tie-in, but releasing it alongside a big budget movie of the same brand would make a lot of marketing sense. Warner Bros. Did a similar thing when they released a completely unrelated Mad Max game alongside Mad Max Fury Road in 2015. Dead Island 2 appears to be in what's commonly known as development hell. The franchise has typically stuck to the quintessential depressing themes that come with the zombie apocalypse, but 2014's reveal trailer appeared to show a much more jovial approach to the situation. Set in what appears to be California, Dead Island 2 was initially in development with Techland until they decided to part ways with Deep Silver and develop the Dying Light series for Warner Bros. Interactive. New developer Jaeger picked up the contract in 2012 and originally planned a Q2 2015 launch date. In July 2015, Jaeger was dropped by Deep Silver due to differing project visions. Sumo Digital was brought in to pick up the pieces, and since then all has been quiet except for the occasions when Deep Silver has reiterated that Dead Island 2 is very much still alive and kicking. THQ Nordic has since acquired Deep Silver, and in their most recent interim reports they assure us that Dead Island 2 is still an ongoing project. With Days Gone releasing a few months ago and both The Last of Us Part 2 and Dying Light 2 on the way, the zombie market might be a tad too crowded for Dead Island 2 to compete with right now. That's it for my list of mystery games, but I'm curious to know, did I miss any that you think are just as important, and when do you think we'll finally get to hear more about them? Let me know in the comments. As always, sources for this video will be linked in the description. If you're interested in some of the other news coming out of E3, be sure to subscribe. I'll be producing a couple of other video roundups, and if you want to hear my thoughts on the conferences, give my Quick Save Radio podcast a listen. It's available on Spotify every Sunday. And if you're interested in live streams, keep an eye on my channel. I intend on catching up with the Modern Warfare series in time for November's reboot very soon. I've been Josh Boyles, cheers for watching, and I'll catch you next time.